hard for me to believe that we're even talking about AI. But let me tell you, why not? Exactly, I like that. But what hit me with these two beautiful people that went up before me was when they were talking about people being afraid. They're being afraid of the intelligence. And I don't know about any of you, but way before AI, I didn't see everyone using intelligence so wisely. And that was before we had this. People were still using the power, and that's when in this teaching, we have a power. One power, we talked about it last week. We have one power. There's not a power for good, there's not a power for evil, there's not a power for disease, and a power for health, and a power for wealth, and a power. There's one power. Now the question is, how are we going to use this one power? And I love this idea of artificial intelligence because they shouldn't even be in the same two words. It doesn't, artificial intelligence, I don't know about any of you, but there is nothing artificial about me. And there is nothing artificial about you. And I'm sitting here thinking artificial. Artificial is interesting because they used I love this idea. They called it, the plastic fruit. Do you guys remember that back in the day? That was the same time libraries were around, by the way. But they had this plastic fruit, and you're looking at it, and it's plastic, but I'm going to break some news to you. There's no nutrients in it. There are no nutrients in plastic fruit. And that's exactly what we're sitting here thinking. I'm thinking, I have worked my entire life to be one with this intelligence, this incredible intelligence that we call God, and it's so huge for me to think that there is something artificial going on, and I'm not afraid of it, but I'm going to tell you two things. To tell you a little story here. I remember the first time I kind of heard about AI. I was out on the path, running, and someone came up to me, no names are necessary, and they started talking to me about, did you know if you put this in and you put that in, that this happens? And my son gave me a report that he did, and it was brilliant, and he said, AI did it. And I went, oh, that's not going to happen to me, because I want to work as hard as I can to make sure that I am sitting here saying, I'm working so hard, then I might as well, for me, go back to the library. When I look at this chat thing, I do not feel powerless when I'm with it. I feel it is assisting me to proof my letters. I'm giving it all the information, and it's putting it together quicker than I could probably do it. And I just watched a wonderful podcast, and I'll get it for you. I don't have the names. It was sent to me. And it's the person that's actually one of the creators of AI. And he was talking about its purpose, speaking of repurpose, its purpose is to assist us, not take us over. It's to assist us. There is nothing so beautiful than, it's putting a whole bunch of words together, and you got all these ideas. I'm an idea man, by the way. And I put all these ideas together, and I say, could you just structure this for me? Everything I just said got structured. It would take me personally, not that I'm not intelligent, but it would take me personally to get it that structured, to show it to you so that you can now make a decision. And so I thought, well, what is this whole idea? Why is it artificial? And that's why I love aligned. Because this is what we're doing here. We're taking a power that we have always had and use it or don't use it. But I remember that day that I took a computer class about almost 40 years ago. F1, F2, you remember those things? I mean, and the machines were so big. And I remember I went to this schooling. My friend got me in because she said, you're going to have to learn this thing called the computer. Oh, I'm not going to need the computer. I'm 25 years old and I'm just talking like that. I don't need no computer. I'm only 25. And I'm thinking, what I was really trying to say is, don't show me the computer because I'm scared, because you're going to test my intelligence. And I went in there, and I remember, and they made you take typing classes, everything so that you could learn it. I was a mess. I remember the teacher coming in and going, listen, now where are you in this whole thing? Where do you want me to start with the teaching? I said, plug in the computer, and that's where we're going to start. And so I ended up taking the typing class, which once again, I had to, go on Valium in order to do that too, because I was so nervous. I was great. I'm just going to tangent off because I don't usually do that. But here's the deal. I went off, and I was such a good typist until you did something like this. Okay, we're going to time you, and my fingers wouldn't even work. So I wrote a paper, getting back to this, called God versus the Computer. And I was, in my 25, 26, I handed it to that teacher, and I said, yeah, that's what I did on the computer. God versus the computer. You know what he said to me? Come here. I wouldn't show this to a lot of people. And I was like, why? I wish I had kept it. Wouldn't it have been great 40 years later? Yeah. But what its gist was, is I couldn't believe why we were giving so much power to the computer as though we had none. And I don't know why he thought that was so dangerous, but I guess 40 years ago that might have been, because I said, if I'm feeding this technology, not me personally, then why would this be something different or something not intelligent or take away my power? Back to where we were talking, AI, no, there's nothing artificial about anything. We have this power that we have always had. It's not a God outside, it's right here. And someone said, well, then why can't we go fast? I just love that. I don't know. And I don't care at this moment. But I do know what I have the same intelligence as AI. And I know that at any moment, if I were to click in and really, really become what we know we are, that you would ask me a very difficult question and I would do this. Blah, 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 and I would be able to do it. We are not separate. We never have been separate. Use AI, don't use AI. What I'm saying is there's nothing artificial about us, ever. How could it be? We are the intelligence. So in other words, we are AI. That's how I'm leaving that. And then that architect person that's running around sleeping with Rita, that's the architect in the chat. Yeah. I'm not afraid of that either because I can ask it anything, and guess what it does? It just says, it mirrors back to me. That's the beauty. That's what we're all doing with each other in our consciousness. We are mirroring back to each other, and we think, oh, that was a good idea. Yeah, the one that I'm mirroring to you, and so this is Liberation Day. That's what I claim today. What do you think, Nina? Think it's good? See, when I was her age, that's when I was like, I don't need no computer. Give me the library. I'm going back to the word. We have at our fingertips power, and it's good. And I'm never, ever going to give my power over to anything. Not any person, not any place, not any technical. It's technical, but this is the power. So, I found something from last week. Now, this is really weird. What the hell is this? I'll tell you how I'm not afraid of AI. If you weren't here last week, there's some people that really knew this. So we talked about, so I'm going to do a little magic here. Just because, why? Because I'm AI. Ask yourself anything you want. Ask yourself now, and that answer is right there. How exciting is that? Oh, I'm sorry. No. So this has no power, but where I direct it, it does. So we got a little mantra we're going to do. I'll say it first. Abacadabra, alakazam. The power of God is who I am. Are you ready? Abacadabra, alakazam. The power of God is who I am. Solved.